In this part, I'm going to explain to you what are agents, how we can actually create them and use them, and then finally how to do structured output with agents. So agents in essence are large language models that accomplish a specific task. It's a pretty broad definition, so they can be supplemented with tools, structured output, and also hand off to other agents to work together. So we'll be learning about those things. So it's basically just an abstraction over the regular GPT that unlocks more capability. So the first thing that you want to do before getting started is install the OpenAI agents package and also python.env, which I showed you guys in the previous video if you watched that one. The most important one is installing this because that actually lets you use the library. And then this package is just going to be for the loading the environmental variables from a local.env file that we learned about. So just go ahead and run that and it'll install everything. Now we can do this piece of code here. So this will load in your local.env file that has your key in it that we saw how to do before. So it has our OpenAI API key, and then we can load that in if it's not loaded already. So now when we use the OpenAI library, it actually uses the API key automatically, okay? So now that we have that, let's see how we can actually create our very first agent. So we'll do from agents, import, agent, and runner. So to make an agent, we'll do agent is equal to agent. An agent is going to have a name, so we could say something like, I don't know, basic agent. And then also you want to give it some instructions. Instructions are just telling the large language model how to act, what the agent should do. So a very basic prompt that we could give it is like, you are a helpful assistant. And then we can also say something like, respond only in all caps. That's it. So now anytime the model that's behind this actually responds to you, it should respond using these instructions, okay? So now that we have an agent, let's see how we can actually run it or invoke it to get a response. So we'll do result is equal to await runner dot to run. We're going to pass in the agent that we're trying to run, and then the prompt. So the prompt is just like when you open ChatGPT and send a message. This is us sending a message to our agent to get a response, and it should hopefully be in all caps, right? So we're going to say, hello, how are you? And that's it. So now it's just going to invoke it. It's an async method, so we need to await it. But once we have the result, we can then do result.finalOutput, which gives us the actual response as a string, okay? Let's try it out. There we go. Hello, I'm doing great. Thank you. How about you? So it's yelling at me because we told it to respond in all caps. So that's how you create an agent. It's just backed by a large language model, and it responds using these instructions here. Very, very simple. So you can also give it other information, like you can provide a model. So by default, it's going to be using the GPT-4o model, which is like the most basic model right now at the time of recording that is used for ChatGPT. So whenever you open ChatGPT, this one is probably the one that you'll be using. But what you can do is swap it out for other models that are available to your account. So right now I'm logged into my OpenAI account. I'm on the models page, and here's a full list of all the models that they offer. So we have stuff like GPT 4.5, which just came out at the time of recording. We have O3 Mini, which is a reasoning model. I think I have access to this one. I'm not too sure. So let's try it out. It's just called O3 Mini. So we'll go back to our code and replace it with O3 Mini, and let's see what we get. There we go. Hello, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How can I help you today? So it did work as it seems. A really great and cheap model that you can use is GPT-4o Mini. It's called Mini because it's a smaller model and it's faster, but it just has less good quality in terms of its output, but it's way cheaper. So for example, this one says 15 cents for input. I believe it's per 1 million input tokens. But if we go back to GPT-4o, it's $2.5. So you can see it's way cheaper. So if we go back to our code, we can swap it out. So we'll do GPT-4o Mini. So I think while you're testing, I'd recommend using one like this. It's way cheaper, way faster. And then if you want to actually deploy your application and get better results, you just swap it out for a better model, right? There we go. Hello, I'm doing great. How about you? Let's create another agent. So we'll do joke agent is equal to agent, and we're going to give it a name of joke agent. So the task of this one is you are given a topic and you need to tell a joke about it. That's it. So let's see how we can do this. We need to give it a topic, and then it's going to give us a joke about the topic. So let's make a topic variable. Topic is equal to AI, and then we'll say result is equal to await runner dot run joke agent, and then now we can just pass in our topic as a string, and let's see what we get. So we'll do result dot final output. Why did the AI break up with its robot girlfriend? She had too many unnecessary updates. Okay, nice. We'll give it another topic. I don't know, boogers. How about that? Why was the booger always invited to parties? Because he was a real pick-me-up. Oh, nice. Okay, I get it. I was late. Now, the whole point of having an agents framework, such as the OpenAI Agents SDK that we're using, is that you're going to have multiple agents that sort of work together to accomplish a task or a set of tasks, right? but each agent is responsible for only one specialized thing, as I've told you before. And I think the reason for that is pretty intuitive because if you tell a human being as well, here's a list of things, do all of these things for me all at once, please. It's not going to be as good as telling like four different people, do all these individual things, and they're going to give you much more high quality results and you can combine them together essentially, okay? At a very high level, that's the same idea behind agents as well, okay? So as another example, we're gonna have this language agent. So it's gonna be a language expert. You are given a joke and you need to rewrite it in a different language. So now we have two agents. We have the joke agent, so it creates the joke, and then we have the language agent, which rewrites the joke in a different language. To make these work together, one thing that you can do is have the joke agent's response fed into the input of the next agent, which is the language agent. That's a deterministic way of connecting agents together to work together, okay? The way we'll do that is by doing a joke result is equal to await, and then we're going to do runner run joke agent again, and then we'll say topic. And now we want to pass the result of the first agent to the input of the second agent, our language agent. So we'll do translated result, await, runner dot run. And now for the input of the language agent, we're going to do this here. So we're going to have a template string. So translate this joke to Spanish. And then we're going to say the actual thing that we want to translate, which is the final output from the joke result, the first output. So let's see what all that looks like by doing this here. So we're going to print the original joke of the first output, and then print the translated result from the second output, okay? Let's run it and see what we get. So the original joke is, why did the booger stay in school? Because it couldn't stop picking up new things. And then the translated joke, because we're translating it to Spanish, is ¿Por qué el moco de cuero en la escuela? ¿Por qué no podía dejar de aprender cosas nuevas? Now, I have a very basic understanding of Spanish. Yo hablo poco español, but that looks about right, so it worked. Pretty cool. Of course, you can make this even more advanced by having it accept a language dynamically. So you could, get input from the user, for example, and then pass it into the template string that you craft before passing into the language agent. But that's it. So that is how you can create agents using the OpenAI Agents SDK. It's really easy. All you gotta do is give them a name, some instructions to follow, and then if you want to, you can specify a model to use as well. And then if you want to have agents work together, you simply run one agent, take the output of the first agent, and then pass it in as input into a string to the second agent. Really easy stuff. All right, now we're going to see how we can do structured outputs with our agents. What it is, it's a way to get the large language model to provide its response in a specific format or schema. What I mean by that is usually your large language models give you the responses just as strings, but what if you wanted to give you a JSON object or an actual class so that way you can just directly use it in your code in a more structured manner? It really can't do that unless you use structured outputs. So with our agents, we have something called an output type, which is just a way of using a structured output behind the scenes. Let's just see how we can do it, and then you'll see why it's so useful, okay? So we're going to do from Pydantic import base model. Because to do an output type, we're going to model it based on a Python class. So we're going to do from agents import agent. We've already done this above, but I'll do it again. So we're going to do class, and we'll say something like recipe. We'll extend from base model. And so this class here will represent the output that the model is supposed to give back to you as an actual structured schema. So just think about what you want the agent to be able to provide. So as an example, I have a recipe model class, which is going to have a title. Every recipe has a title. It's going to have a list of string ingredients, a cooking time as an integer. We'll tell it to provide that in minutes, and then also the amounts of servings. So now we're going to make a recipe agent to go along with that. We'll give him a name, recipe agent. So here's the instructions. You are an agent for creating recipes. You'll be given the name of a food, and your job is to output that as an actual detailed recipe. The cooking time should be in minutes so that it knows, to provide that in minutes. I think you can come up with a better prompt, but I think this one is good enough. So once you have that, you can then provide the output type, which is just going to be your base model that you created. And this forces the model to return any output, not as a string, but as this actual type here, okay? All right, let's invoke it now. So we're going to do recipe agent. Then now it's asking for, remember, it needs the name of a food, and it's going to do the rest of the work. So we're going to say Italian sausage with spaghetti, and let's just run and see what we get. Okay, so we're going to do response, and again, you just do final output, and it should just be as this type here. So let's run it and see what we get. Here we go. So we got recipe. You can see that's an actual object type just by the way it's printing it out. It says recipe, and it's got a title, Italian sausage with spaghetti. Ingredients, 400 grams of spaghetti, 4 Italian sausages, casings removed, 2 tablespoons olive oil, 1 onion finely chopped, 2 cloves, blah, blah, blah. Optional stuff, very detailed, that's good. And then cooking time is 30 minutes, and the servings is 4 servings. Really cool. So it looks like it works perfectly. So now what you can do is take this recipe type that you have. So we can just do simply recipe is equal to this. Now, hopefully you can see the benefit of having a structured output, because if you have an actual Python application, it makes more sense for a lot of your responses to be actual Python types like recipe, because one, it conforms to what you actually need, but also you can just directly use it in your code as a recipe type because it's valid Python code. If this did not exist, what you would have to do is essentially in the prompt to beg it to return a JSON output and then parse it and then convert it to a recipe type. That's a lot more work. And since you have to really try and get the prompt right to, prompt engineer into actually giving you that response, sometimes it won't. That's a lot of extra work as well. So this really simplifies things. So that's how you do structured outputs with agents using a output type. So the next part, we're going to learn how to do something really cool that extends the capability of our agents, which is called tool calling. We can allow our agents to call our Python functions on its own to give it even more capability. So stay tuned for that.